Hello, everybody, and welcome to an X-Pound Special Review of the Power Rangers franchise. We're going to be looking at the future of it and where we think it's going and what we think it should do. I am Richter Hammer, and with me, as always, Marcus Shadow.
Yo.
And joining us is James Phoenix.
Yo.
And Chriz The Mole.
Feel the momentum.
And a special guest, we have Aeon with us tonight.
And Shin!
All right, so the main things we will be talking about are, one, the TV shows and how we think those should go. Number two, movies, and if we think they should make more or what they should all encompass. Three, video games. Got to get those tie-ins. And then four, anything that's not related to those. So I assume like figures or any of that stuff. Toys, yeah. So
I'd like
up,
to... I'm sorry, if I can interject for a moment, I just want to point out that our good friend Aeon will have his own show on the XPound premiering soon.
Or two.
So so you will see him around. He's not just here as a one-shot or anything.
Yeah, we didn't just drag some dude off the street. We hired.
Yeah. And as was mentioned in the first video of this series, we did unfortunately lose the Fallen Angel due to illness while recording these, so unfortunately he could not join us this evening.
So we had to drag Aussie off a koala to join us.
So what you're saying is something... What you're saying is... Yeah, so like I said, what you're saying is something to do with Power Rangers is used as a backdoor pilot to launch a rider show?
Oh!
Yeah. Fuck you, man! Fuck you!
Apparently he's now Jamaican Australian.
Anyway, I apologize, Mr. Hammer.
That is fine. So first up, TV shows. So anyone want to jump in and say what they think should happen or where they see it going?
I don't know if I like the fact that they're basically going to take two Sentai shows and make them one Power Rangers show, and they're dramatically shrinking the seasons.
Basically, they're trying to redo Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what did they go through? 3 to 4 seasons during Mighty Morphin?
Let's see, that went through Jew Ranger, Dai Ranger, Kaku Ranger.
And the Alien Rangers.
That was Kaku Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if the Alien Rangers was something completely different.
Yeah, the Dai Ranger is the series that the White Tiger Ranger suit came from. That was the only suit that series used. And the Thunderzords. And then the Alien Ranger suits and Zords were from Kaku Ranger.
Well,
So
actually, the Battleborgs, the Shogun Zord and the Ninja Zords were Kaku Ranger. The Battleborgs were used by the Alien Rangers, which were the Kaku Ranger suits.
Right.
Huh.
No, but the thing is, it could work because they're rewriting and reshooting so much of the Gokaiger footage because, well, let's face it, they're like half those suits they can't use over here because they never made those series into Power Rangers. So that's
pretty much
understandable.
Everything before Jew Ranger and the Core 5 of Dai Ranger.
Yep, and so because of that, it's possible that they could pull it off, but that's if they write it properly, which it's Saban. It's post Saban era Saban, so yeah, I'm not holding my breath. But also the fact that they're taking Ghost Ager, which is going to be the adaptation for the next season, Mega Ranger, and they're shrinking it down by half into 20 episodes. I'm like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Ghost Ager, but come on, really?
It should also be noted that unlike Samurai, which was under the direct running hand of Jonathan Zakor, one of the executive producers, it's been stated outright that the 20th anniversary Mega Force, presumably those seasons, will be under the direct supervision of Haim Saban, just like in NPR.
Hayam. It's Hayam Saban.
I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. But I guess we'll find out.
Well, that's BDP.
Yes.
Remember, Saban is Jewish.
Merchandising!
Saban's Egyptian.
Yeah, Hayam Saban. He's like Mel Brooks.
That's why I said merchandising.
He's basically the Mel Brooks of Power Rangers.
Now I want Mel Brooks to direct Power Rangers.
That'd be awesome. He needs to be Zordon.
Yes.
One thing I see being a problem with that, with him coming back, so many of the originals are meant to due to come back or appear or whatever with the other season, and as mentioned in the past, I think we mentioned it in part 1 and stuff. Example: the Blue Ranger Billy hates Saban and hates his time working at Power Rangers under him. So do a few of the other actors with how he treated them. So it's like
David
that could be a... Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, due to stuff like that from Mighty Morphin, it's possible a load of the old ones won't return because they'll have to deal with him directly.
That's possible. I don't know. I mean, David Yost seems to have come to terms with a lot of the Power Rangers stuff recently, so I don't know.
Well, we'll
It's
see.
been like, what, 18 years
Yeah.
almost?
Fortunately, I doubt we'll get Amy Jo Johnson back in any capacity.
Well, no, I mean, Flashpoint is ending, so she's not going to have a show to do.
Yeah, but I thought she hates Power Rangers, period, end of story.
Well, yes and no, but then again, everybody said David Yost hated Power Rangers. There was those long-running rumors that anybody who walked into his pizza shop and called a Billy got thrown out.
Ouch.
And those long-running rumors, those are unsubstantiated, but supposedly he owns a pizza shop in L.A., and somebody started this rumor online that they got thrown out when they went in and called him Billy.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, for example, Biff hates every reference to do with Back to the Future, which means he'd hate the fact I referred to him as Biff.
To the point that he wrote a hilarious song about it.
But we digress.
We digress.
Get this
Continue.
train back on track.
Yeah, continue, Mr. Marcus Shadow.
What was it saying? We're getting off track.
It's the Hammer show.
It's the Hammer.
Yeah, no,
I didn't know.
Marcus Shadow was in the middle of talking about Saban, and then you started to mention Saban, and then Tachi corrected you, and we got onto the whole stuff to do with Saban. I thought he was going somewhere else with it.
No, I was just mentioning Saban.
Yeah,
Just saying
okay.
it depends. Just saying that, this is under Saban and it's post-Saban era Saban. So you don't know where, especially with Samurai, even though, it was under somebody else technically, but still you just don't know where it's going to go from here in that respect. And then with what you brought up, it's like, yeah, it could be good, but because Saban himself is the one directly involved with this, it could suck big donkey balls.
Has the potential to go good because of MMPR, but also because of behind-the-scenes stuff, it might be terrible.
Oh, yes.
I see that.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're basically bringing back the entire plot from MMPR, too, so we'll see where that goes.
Honestly, I think they need to do something new. They need to not retread old ground. Because I get the feeling that a lot of what they're doing with Power Rangers is nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, because they feel that's what we, the older fans, Power Rangers want. And it's not, in my opinion, at least from where I sit. I would rather have something fresh, something new, maybe harken back, but don't retread old ground, as I said.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily. I think that's part of it, but it's not necessarily just that. It's also the fact that when MMPR was on the air, that dynamic is what captured the mind and heart of every 4 to 8 year old on the planet, and beyond that.
I said 5 to 10.
5 to 10, whatever. Point is, every kid on the planet was a Power Ranger fan for some portion of their lives during that, say, 93 to 96 period when MMPR was on the air.
There you go.
Every single kid in the world basically was a Power Rangers fan, and I think what it is that was the dynamic, and Saban wants to bring it back to that point where kids all over the world love Power Rangers again, and it's a big thing again. And he feels that by bringing back that same dynamic that launched it in the first place, maybe he can capture lightning in a bottle a second time.
Yeah, but he's living in the past. I mean, it's apparent just between us the fact that I'm essentially a generation older than you guys, and we are very different, and our childhoods were very different. He can't take what he put out during our childhoods that made us enthralled with Power Rangers and expect it to do the same with the current generation of kids. It's not going to happen because this generation of children are very different from us. What they like and what will capture their attention and capture their imagination is very different to what captured ours.
And I just wanted to say, based on what we were talking about, recycled plots and backstage politics. I'm nostalgic for when we used to be wrestling XPound.
I'm nostalgic for when it was bloody Power Ranger Empire, not Ranger Crew.
There you go.
If you want Power Ranger Empire, you're welcome to go over to PRO. They control that forum now.
Nah. Too much effort. Not enough profit.
It was too much effort to begin with. That's why Masaki shut it down like 5 times.
And we're not here to talk about the fandom. We're here to talk about the show.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I'm saying. So I'm done with my piece.
I'd like to try and rehash the original Gen 1 Transformers into, say, Bayformers.
Oh, no.
Right. It's like take a look at Power Rangers Samurai. take a look at Bulk and Spike. I understand what they were trying to do, but it doesn't work because A, your audience is different now. B, Spike is a very different character to Skull. You cannot do the same thing with two different characters. It doesn't work.
And in my opinion, the reason it didn't work was for the one thing you were left off.
What's that?
It was the reason I didn't like that dynamic was because of Bulk. The reason I didn't like it because Bulk's like a 30-odd-year-old old man. The fact he's still acting like a high school student during parts of this when he's doing his little skits and stuff, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. That essentially makes Bulk, who's had these crowning moments of awesomeness, a complete loser. It makes him a complete tool.
Yeah, it goes back to what I was saying in the first video about how I felt that Samurai basically ruined the character arc of Bulk, excuse me, that they built up through space and whatnot, and then you all of a sudden get a look at him years later, now, taking care of Spike's kid, but he's the same. He should not be the same. He had a character arc that changed the definition of his character through the years of Power Rangers, and then in Samurai, they just completely threw that out the window and ruined it.
They destroyed his Spartacus scene.
Pretty much. They destroyed what made Bulk Bulk.
See, in my opinion, if they wanted to bring Bulk back, they could have done it, and they could have brought the Skull back with him if they wanted to, but give them their own little hotel resort thing they had in Forever Red. I kind of like the dynamic of those two just sat down reminiscing and playing chess and be like, oh yeah, do you remember the time I blah 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 blah? It was awesome. That was kind of funny. That's what they should have done.
And fun fact on that, it's still not explained where Bulk and Skull got a hold of Rita's chess set.
eBay.
It was in a backlot.
eBay.
It was on either eBay or Craigslist.
Pretty much.
Didn't that chess set also had the Psycho Rangers on it? Where did they get those chess pieces?
They stole it from King Mondo when they escaped the Machine Empire.
There you go. But I think the other biggest problem with the Bulk and Spike dynamic is that they're not interacting with the Rangers.
No.
One of the biggest things about Bulk and Skull is that they unknowingly knew the Rangers. They interacted with them in the juice bar or at school every day. They knew who they were. There was a lot of interaction. So the Rangers were there to be the straight people to their antics, and then give that freeze frame laugh at the end. That was the great part of that, is that they were always there for to witness Bulk and Skull's hilarity with the audience, so the audience could relate to the joke. In this case, they're not interacting with the Rangers at all; they're just doing their own separate thing, and it's not really connected, and that makes it harder for the fans to really connect with the characters.
Yeah,
true.
I agree.
That's a good point.
I agree.
What I think they should have done is, for those of you who are fans of Shinkenger out there, there was one episode that I refer to as the Brown Ranger episode, or Mr. Brown's on it. Anyway, they should have taken the concept of that episode and ran with it and just made that the running joke with Bulk. Because that would have been hilarious, where you don't take the character and basically degenerate him into what he was in MMPR. You take him as he's supposed to be at that age and say, okay, he's been through all this, he's helped the Rangers, now he wants to be a Ranger. So the running joke through the series would be him trying to become a Power Ranger. I think that would have been great. That would have given the interaction between him and the Rangers, and you could still have a lot of hilarious stuff, but in a more grown-up manner that fit what the character had become over the years.
Right.
See, I don't know. I haven't seen what you were on about to quite get it. Would I be right in assuming you wanted to take Bulk and make him Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z?
Pretty much, yeah.
Ah, cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the
Hercule
head.
for you dub fans.
You stole the Hammer's gimmick. You hit the nail on the head.
And since we're on TV shows, I'm going to ask and address this over here. If he doesn't want to, feel free to edit this whole little bit out. I have to ask you, Mr. Aeon, since you're a Rider fan and stuff, and it's in the future, Power Riders. What do you think?
Oh shit.
Could work, could fail. Meh. We have to wait and see. Because sadly, my crystal ball don't work at the moment after someone screwed it up.
And that's cool. I was just wondering if you had any ideas for that, or how you'd like that to go, and if you wanted it to be tied with the Ranger universe and stuff.
I say the name needs to change.
Yeah,
Power Riders,
name definitely
really?
needs to change.
No. What was wrong with Kamen Rider? I thought that was perfectly fine.
Kamen Rider's good. As long as it's not Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think
Dragon.
the reason behind the name is, let's not forget, we're dealing with the same generation and pretty much how all the people in the West have been for years, that they'll buy Yu-Gi-Oh! They'll buy Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and all the other crap to do with that stuff. They'll buy Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, Yellow, White, Diamond,
Green was
Platinum.
only in Japan.
I know, but it still counts, and it got re-released on the Game Boy Advance. But still, it's the case. Yeah, but it's the point of people. If it's got an existing brand attached to it in the West, people are more likely to jump all over that shit. If it's got Power Riders associated with Power Riders, as much as the name may suck, kids in the West will jump all over that shit because they know the brand.
From Power Rangers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
At least that's
unfortunately,
my-
you're right. But
Biker Mice
Yeah,
from
so-
Ventara.
Well, as long as
Wow.
you don't kick it off right away with bloody fours, it could work.
if
Cool.
they're gonna kick it off with anything, it'll be Decade, since it has been publicized that they own the rights to the Shin Kendra Decade footage.
And you've been oddly quiet, Mr. Phoenix.
I don't really watch much Kamen Rider, so I don't have all that much of an opinion on it. Like I said, it could work, it might not work. I don't know. I'll have to see where it goes. I think the name is bad because I just think if you call it Power Rider, it's going to look like a blatant Power Rangers ripoff, and that's not going to be good for fans. But
Yeah.
Power Rangers Kamen Rider.
I'd say it
Power
looks more
Rangers,
like a
Rider
Power Rangers
Force.
spin-off. To me, I was just thinking it looks like a Power Rangers spin-off, and something I kind of want, and I know some of you may hate this. I don't watch Kamen Rider either. I'd kind of like, with this series coming up being essentially Mighty Morphin Power Rangers again, I'd like them to meet the Riders in a one-off episode like the Masked Rider thing, and then have the spin-off show. I like
Give me
Masked Rider. I
Red-
like how they did it. It was fun, and that's a good way to launch the show.
Yeah.
They may do that because they did have a movie Gokaiger did. It was a Super Sentai versus Kamen Rider. So they may do something similar in like maybe a multi-episode.
Superhero Tyson.
Yeah, with
There you
Superhero
go.
Tyson. Yeah, so they may do something similar in a multi-episode arc or something.
Mm.
Or maybe in a movie, which we can talk about when we go to movies. In fact, do we want to use that as
Yeah, that's a good
jumping
segment.
off point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next up, we got movies. So anyone want to jump in for that?
Power
leave it
Rider
to Mr.
Tyson would be a
Phoenix.
pretty good movie, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I'll leave it to Mr. Phoenix, as he hardly said anything about the future in the last one.
Yeah, Mr. Phoenix, your thought on Ranger Rider movies?
I don't know about a Rider movie. Like I said, I don't know much about Riders. I think another Ranger movie would be good, especially if Megaforce popularizes the series the way Saban obviously intends it to. I think a movie would be a good way to get it back in the mainstream and really get people's attention again. As long as it's promoted like the first movie, because the second movie, everybody that in this day remembers the second movie being a flop. But the first movie was pretty good, but it was pretty popular, so they popularized it that way, really get that going. I think it could be an interesting way to go. Maybe make it a 20th anniversary movie where they have some different old Rangers coming back and things like that. Maybe make that the whole centralized of it. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That
Only
could
one
work.
problem with the original movie, it was an alternate universe to the main show, and it was better than what we got in the show.
Because it had a budget.
Yeah.
What I think they should
And it
do.
was done in Australia,
There you
not
go.
on a freaking backlot in the US.
What I think they should do, especially since they're running with the whole 2-season, 2-series thing, they do the Ghost Ager stuff as Megaforce. At the end of that season, instead of ending it like Ghost Ager ends, however that ends, but I'm assuming it ends like any Sentai does, you end it in a cliffhanger, and you end it with the invasion of the Songyok Empire. I'm assuming they're using those as the villains since they probably don't want to reshoot all that footage. But so you end with that invasion, then you do the movie, which is their reshoot of the 100 War, which is basically you bring back all of the old Rangers and stuff. They come back for the war, and it shows how they lose their powers and how the Megaforce team has to then regain all the powers. And then you go into the next series, the Ultra Super Duper Hyper 20th Anniversary Megaforce, whatever the hell they're going to call it. And
This upcoming is the 20th anniversary Megaforce because it is the 20th season. That'll be the 21st season.
I know, but that's supposed to be like the super duper mega hyper whatever the fuck they're gonna call it because they have Super Samurai.
Super Megaforce. They've copyrighted both Super Megaforce and Ultra Megaforce.
Did they?
So
Oh, that's
whichever way they go.
But yeah, they can start there, and that way they can use the movie to show how and why the Megaforce team loses their powers and gets a new set of powers.
That's true, but they would never get a budget for that movie because you realize at this point that pretty much every actor from previous Ranger series is now SAG, and they have to pay them SAG wages.
And this is why Power Rangers is doomed for failure.
Yep.
Because let's face it, Saban on his own with the TV show, it's not going to succeed. I can almost guarantee you that. And no.
Well, he's got Nickelodeon. He's not on his own.
Yeah, that's half of why Samurai's a fucking failure. But I digress. Anyway, anybody else on movies?
It's what Disney would have done.
What I wanted movie-wise ages ago, at least, I still kind of feel this way. I wanted the TV show to just end. I wanted it to die. And then a few years later, I wanted Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. And what this would be, essentially, is a reboot to the series. The costumes would be more realistic, similar to like the Iron Man armor or something. The Zords would be more realistic, like the Transformers in Bayformers and shit.
Oh,
but like
Christ.
the Iron Man films and like the new Amazing Spider-Man film, they still keep that lightheartedness to it that makes the series good without being all special effects or all too dark, so that it appeals to both younger fans and older fans and makes Power Rangers something the mainstream will actually look and go like, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this again.
So what you're saying
And
is you
just
want
start off
Ryan
that.
Saban to magically come up with a humongous movie budget?
No, I was saying someone else could have come up with a movie budget.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
not
let's
going to happen.
face facts.
Saban's
Let's
not going to let go of the Power Rangers IP. That's not going to happen.
They don't.
I know,
They don't,
Marcus.
But they don't have to. I mean, Saban didn't let go of it when Fox made the other two movies.
Yeah, and I was gonna say to you, Marcus, I already know what you were saying, but like I've discussed in the past with you guys on Skype and stuff in the past, stuff like Stretch Armstrong is getting a big movie budget. Battleship's got a big budget film release. Someone could look at Power Rangers and say, hey, this deserves a big budget film release, and make one. I mean, worse stuff's had a budget in the past.
That's true.
I mean, even the EA game, The Sims, was rumored to be meant to be getting a big budget film release.
Peter Jackson's Halo.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
If there's one person I would want making a more grown-up Power Rangers movie like what you want, it would be Joss Whedon. He would have to be the one that helms it.
That'd be
Firefly,
awesome.
Serenity, Buffy.
Avengers.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I tend to lean toward J.J. Abrams, but I respect your decision.
Okay, J.J.
Well,
Abrams
they
directs
could-
it, Whedon writes it. How's that sound?
Works for me.
And we could always have Will Wheaton in it.
Yes.
Yes. As Zordon.
The
I-
ultimate
The Red
geek.
Ranger.
Only if he gets probably killed in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's the first Red Ranger to just so we have that sci-fi meme of the red shirt dies first.
He's got to be shoved out of an airlock now.
Ha!
I got enclosure to Star Trek.
Wasn't he actually a gold shirt? Or was he actually a red shirt?
He was red
No,
shirt when he was-
Wesley, in this show he wasn't, because he was initially an acting ensign. He just had a generic uniform. But when Picard promoted him to full ensign, a field promotion, he had the red shirt.
Yeah,
Okay. But
That-
remember,
that
in
was
Next Gen, it was the gold shirts that got killed off regularly. It was the gold and actually blue shirts. The red shirts don't.
Pretty right.
Yeah. That's why. Well, security.
Yeah, and I was-
Pushes up glasses.
I was saying if you wanted to do something like that with a geek connection or whatever, like I was saying, I would have gone with Josh Whedon writing, Josh Whedon the thingy directing, and the main mentor or whatever, or even just somebody. I'd say the main mentor because they couldn't really do it the head in the jar thing anymore. I'd go with Nathan Fillion.
Hey, they're
Yeah.
going with the head in the jar for Megaforce.
Captain.
Are they?
Yeah, but that's still a TV show for kids. I was on about for a big budget thing where you want someone they can walk and interact with and stuff.
Right. And
I'd have Nathan Fillion.
If
I
they're
agree.
doing it as a reboot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, like actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the person I would want to play the Zordon character would have to be Sir Ian McKellen.
Or
Oh,
Patrick Stewart's head.
yes.
What's that, Mole?
Or Patrick Stewart's head.
Or Patrick Stewart's
Yeah.
head.
Either Xavier or Magneto.
Honestly, personally, I would settle for Anthony Hopkins' head.
No,
See,
it has to be Anthony Stewart head. He's got to be the mentor.
yeah. See, I'd like something like if it's not Nathan Fillion, something like Patrick Stewart. And if you were going to make Morphin route, fair enough, use the head and the jar thing, but play off that fact, make him more like Charlie and Charlie's Angels. Not that he's trapped in this tube. Once that disappears, or whatever, we see him in a secret location in like a big fucking military like base, and that's him, and that's how he interacts, and so it makes it more like Nick
Human.
Fury from S.H.I.E.L.D. meets Picard.
So
Makes him more human.
So Nathan Fillion is Bosley?
Yes.
But it's still, it'd be. But yeah, that'd be my idea for a Power Rangers reboot idea for films.
Fine, do that, but Nathan Fillion plays Alpha as Captain Hammer.
There you go.
Come on, Rangers, you've got to bash in minds.
Yeah.
But no, I would say Anthony Stewart head for the mentor for one reason only. You know, because we have
the word head.
We have Joss Whedon as the writer. He's got to have one scene where maybe it's the reveal where he just kind of smiles, pushes his glasses up, and he's got to have the line, "Giles ain't got nothing on me."
Oh, Buffy ref.
Yep, just for the in joke.
Mm-hmm.
That works.
But what's everyone else think for movie wise?
I think that'd be an awesome movie. I'd pay to see that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it has proven what Mole was suggesting has proven successful with lots of franchises. So I could see that would be a really good way to bring it back to mainstream.
Yeah, I just had another thought for a director, Bryan Singer, the first two X-Men movies.
Yeah, but then you saw what he did with Superman. I'm like, yeah, I don't want him touching Power Rangers.
You want to like hit Tom.
I like Bryan Singer.
God.
I like Bryan Singer, Aeon. My only reason for not having him, he doesn't do the lightheartedness as much as I'd want for Power Rangers. As essentially for me, like with Joss Whedon, he does so much comedy, and essentially Power Rangers is a lighthearted show. So it would still be cool to have some elements of some goofiness, but not over the top goofiness. If that makes sense.
Well, if you want that, get the director from Amazing Spider-Man, Mark Webb, because I thought he did the comedy almost pitch perfect in Amazing Spider-Man. But that's coming soon in my review of The Amazing Spider-Man.
He did, but the thing to remember with him, he's a character director. That's like one character's story. I don't know how well he'd do with a whole ensemble of characters where he has to give each one of them equal story. I mean, don't get me wrong, he did a good job in Amazing Spider-Man, coming soon in your review. But it was basically like Joss Whedon with the Avengers, where he gives each one screen time, and no one felt overpowering or anything. That's what Power Rangers need. So like the Pink Ranger gets as much screen time as the Red, and then whenever one of the sequels comes out, he can still give us the fan service of the Green Ranger without making the Green Ranger completely fucking eclipse everyone else.
Right.
But then again, a good portion of the characters in Avengers were already pre-established in previous movies.
I'm aware.
True. Yeah. But yeah, we have some good ideas out there, and we'd like to hear your ideas too. So hit up the message board or leave comments, PM us, Twitter us. We're there. We'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sorry, I had to throw that.
Yeah.